The goal of music with kids is really just self expression, connecting with how you feel and expressing it in a way that's acceptable in the place that you're in. It's also a nice way to connect with others and to enjoy other people's own self expression. We often think about music in a way that's formulaic and that it is a certain type of sound that's enjoyable, but those are more kind of colloquial sort of understandings of music, and really it's a much, much broader type of thing in human life. It can be ugly and it can be noisy, and that can still be very legitimate music, very legitimate to the person who's making it. Um, just because someone might not want to listen to it doesn't mean that it's not very meaningful to the person who's making it. So often when we talk about education for music, we're talking about sort of classical modern education, which is nice for certain kinds of instruments. It's okay for kids if they choose that when they're older. Um, but teaching them how to read notes at a very young age is not quite the same as teaching them to read and write as it is to language. Notes and sheet music are very much just approximations of music. They're not very close to what actual musicians need to create a piece from the sheet music. So they're often a little overvalued. There's some types of music like tap dancing that has really no way to write it down at all. Just a couple attempts that get nearby, but nothing that's been adopted by the tap community. So when we're talking about preparing children for a life of music, what we really want is for them to feel like they can look inside and bring out whatever they have in there, and that itself is legitimate music. Um, it really is a natural mode of self expression that doesn't really need to be provoked, just encouraged. It's sort of like when Montessori talks about how you can make a flower bloom, and that's just don't step on it. So, and especially it's really true for adults too. You know, when someone sings, makes up their own song, is humming to themselves, people often will sing to their animals very freely, and that's great. It's really just important to not, laugh at them or giggle, even if it's a little silly sounding. Um, when someone is all done, you want to give them encouragement and say like, "Wow, I really enjoyed listening to that," because often people don't realize that their little tiny humming in their head is nice for other people to listen to in the right time and place, and it can be very personal and scary to share music that you've made yourself, and truly that's the most important music in my mind for anyone is music that you've generated in your own way and that you consider to be music. Um, so when someone shares something that they've made or that just that they have spontaneously, you really want to try to encourage it and like it, um, and to just appreciate the humanity of it all. It's sort of like open ended questions when you ask a child a question and they come back with some very interesting things to say that really don't answer the question and are maybe not even sentences. If they're just learning to talk, it might just be a baby babbling, but that feeling for a baby that's babbling and that response that you give, that like, wow, okay, okay. uh, like I don't know, but I'm so amazed that you're communicating and I hear you. It affects me, and it's not bad, and I'm not um, asking you to shove that down inside. Is the most important thing. And when someone feels that they have legitimate music and they also want to be a classical musician, then it's fine for them to start training and to be told, oh no, this is the wrong way to do it and this is the right way to do it. But until they've personally decided to go down the road of classical education, we really don't want to tell them how music is done. Especially because, of course, nobody has enough life experience to know how all the music is done. So we just haven't met all the musicians yet, and we haven't heard all the music. So it's very premature to say that there is a certain kind or type of way of being that's music and a certain kind that's not. So really, we just want to keep our goals for the children and ourselves in just self expression. That's really what music is. Try to feel it.